Hey, giving all praises to the Most High through Christ. I'm one of the brothers from the body of Christ Church. And today I'm coming out with a history class of Black people in America and what's been happening to them. But we're going to look at it through the lens of the scriptures to see if we can line up what happened to us with what the scriptures say. So the title of the class is Who is the Klan? And that's a very good question because, when the Ku Klux Klan first started, it was, some people, they tried to keep it secret, but their identities came out eventually. Not all of them, but now, it has gone through reiterations or whatever. But now, presently, the terror campaign that the Klan has historically been carried out, the terror campaign that they've been bringing out and carrying out is still being carried out. And I want to identify, and it's public knowledge. I mean, it's not on the news, but it's public knowledge if you want to research it. I want to bring out who the Klan is today. So first things first, I'm going to look at this thing from the website is NCpedia or North Carolina Encyclopedia or whatever. But the website is NCpedia. And the title is Ku Klux Klan. I'm just going to read a little bit. There have been 3 Ku Klux Klan KKK movements in North Carolina and the nation, similar in character but distinct organizationally and chronologically. I'm going to say there's 4. Okay. But let's look at their history. The first Klan flourished during the Reconstruction era. Its name derived from the Greek word kuklos for circle or band. It was almost exclusively Southern in its membership, almost exclusively. So there were some Northern people in it. It was almost exclusively Southern in its membership and mission to perpetuate white supremacy. Beginning as a social fraternity in Pulaski, Tennessee in 1866, the KKK was soon taken over by former Confederate officers, including General Nathan Bedford Forrest, and transformed into a paramilitary force to oppose Republican policies. So these guys were opposing Republicans. And wait a minute. To oppose Republican policies, especially black suffrage in Tennessee. So black suffrage is the right for black people to vote. All right. In 1868, one of the Republican policies was black suffrage. Okay. In 1868, the order quickly spread across the South as other Republican state governments were established under the Congressional Reconstruction Acts. And, so during Reconstruction, not only were there black congressmen, there were black, mayors, sheriffs, and stuff like that. All right. So let's go on a little bit. The most Klan-ridden areas in North Carolina were Alamance and Caswell counties in the northern Piedmont in 1869 and 70, and Rutherford and Cleveland counties in the southern foothills a year later. Neighboring counties such as Sampson, Lenoir, and Jones in the southeast were also affected. And these places disguised Night riders roamed the countryside, dragging people from their homes, lynching, whipping, shooting, or otherwise assaulting them, driving them away, or destroying their property. Most of the victims were black, but white Republicans were also attacked, especially in Rutherford County. You mean there were so-called white people getting terrorized? So not all white people are racist, huh? That's interesting. I guess that must be a little known fact of Black history. But this stuff, this is terrorism, domestic terrorism against a certain set of people. Okay. So I want to look at something else as well. I just went to a short, let's see if I can blow this up a little bit. I just went to a short, search, and then on Brave browser, and then this is the summary. All right. History of KKK shooting black people. The Ku Klux Klan systematically used shootings, whippings, and murder as tools of terror to restore white supremacy and suppress black political power following the Civil War. From its inception in 1866, the group engaged in armed guerrilla warfare. So they were a terrorist organization that killed thousands of African Americans, often targeting community leaders, voters, and families to enforce racial hierarchy. There's also other accounts where they targeted, it's said that they also targeted business owners and people that were well-to-do, self-sufficient. Okay. Now I want to drop that and go somewhere right quick. I want to go to the scriptures. So we're going to go in the Bible, right? And okay, it came up. All right, let's go to Leviticus. And remember, it was basically a terror campaign against black people. So let's go to Leviticus 26. And this is talking to the children of Israel. And let's go back up to the top right quick. There were commandments that we had, right? And like verse 1, Leviticus 26, verse 1, ye shall make you no idols nor graven image, neither rear you up a standing image, neither shall ye set up any image of stone in your land to bow down unto it. I am the Lord your God, or for I am the Lord your God. Ye shall keep my Sabbaths and reverence my sanctuary. I am the Lord. If you walk in my statutes and keep my commandments and do them, and then following, there was a list of blessings. A lot of people think this is only in Deuteronomy 28, but it's not. But now we get here, let's start at 14, Leviticus 26, verse 14. But if you will not hearken unto me and will not do all these commandments, and if ye shall despise my statutes, or if your soul abhor my judgments, so that ye will not, so that you will not do all my commandments, but that ye break my covenant, I also will do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror, consumption, and the burning ague that shall consume the eyes and cause sorrow of heart, and ye shall sow your seed in vain, for your enemies shall eat it. So The consumption is the wasting away, the not being able to achieve anything in life. And, there's different, it can apply to a lot of different things, but we will be consumed, wasted away by what, like alcohol addiction or different stuff like that, right? The burning ague or ague, that's a disease, right? And we're not going to concentrate on that because these two things are high or higher amongst our people more so than any others. All right. But let's look at the terror. Who appointed the terror over us? The Lord did, because we did not do his commandments. So someone may say, hey, why are you saying this? Like, so you saying we the people of the book? Well, that happened to the Jews in from like 1939 to 1945. Well, it happened to our people from 1866 until, a lot of people are saying it's still going on. So if we go 1866 to 2026, what is that, 160 years or something like that? 66, 26, 100, yeah, 160 years. So who do you think it applies to more? All right. Let's go somewhere else because, hey, I don't want to be accused of cherry picking. Let's go to Zechariah chapter 11 and read verse 4 and 5. Thus saith the Lord my God, feed the flock of the slaughter, whose possessors slay them, and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. So, didn't the people that had the terror campaign against the Jews in World War II, didn't they face war crimes trials? The Nuremberg trials after the war? And a lot of them were found guilty, right? But the people that possessed us as slaves, they were killing us. And this is not only in America, this is around the world. But I'm going to target, the United States slave history. I mean, slavery is still going on in Northern Africa. And when they give reports on it, they'll say they're still selling Black Africans in open slave markets today in Northern Africa, the Arab slave trade, which started before the so-called white supremacist slave trade. All right. So are these slave owners that own and sell us and killing us, especially in the history we have in America because it's so publicized, right? Were they ever found guilty? I mean, a couple of them here and there, but I'll give you an example. Was Emmett Till's murderers found guilty? The woman that lied on it and caused him to be killed, was she ever found guilty? The KKK was those people that was lynching people. A lot of them were not found guilty. And they that sell them, they that hustled up and went and captured us and sold us as slaves, they say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich. They made mega money off of us being sold. The insurance companies, because people had insurance on slaves. Just like you have an insurance policy on your car or your house or something like that. If you're a renter, there's renter's insurance. They had insurance on us because we were property. So these companies got rich from insuring us, from running the slave markets, from going and getting slaves captives or whatever, and getting them free or transporting them for a low price or buying them at a low price and then take them somewhere where they needed slaves and selling them for a high price. I mean, Wall Street in New York City used to be a slave market. Down at the where Wall Street goes towards the water, there was a market right there on the shore. Okay. And they got rich off of selling us. Did that happen to people that had a terror campaign against Jews in World War II? And their own shepherds pity them not. Their own shepherds pity them not are or is our unelected black leaders that whenever there's a crime that they can use, like a young black man goes somewhere with some white friends, he's the only black guy, he ends up dead. And now there's a big controversy about it. Now you got the race hustlers coming in and we're going to do this and do that. And they're taking donations and give me money and all this stuff, right? But at the same time, a young black man went out with a bunch of black friends on a party boat. I think it was in Miami, somewhere in Florida. And he mysteriously goes overboard. It's not even in the news. So these unelected leaders are not telling us the way to get out of this condition. They have no pity on us. They just want money. And that's a well-known fact. They're getting paid to be a so-called religious leader. And it's been that way since before the 60s. It got really put all over the TV in the 60s, 1960s, right? So I want to look at this. I want to look at some things about this with the possessor slaying them and holding themselves not guilty. Okay. So let me see. Let me see. Where is it? I'm looking at it. Okay. Where is it? Okay. All right. Here it is. This is one of the things. Okay. Here it is. I just went and put this in. Who made money off the American slave trade? Okay. Isaac Franklin and John Armfield were the most significant domestic slave traders in American history, operating the largest and most powerful trading firm between 1828 and 1836. They forcibly moved over 10,000 enslaved people from the upper South to the deep South, buy low, sell high, amassing a fortune worth several billion in today's dollars and transforming the slave trade into a highly organized modern business. They industrialized slave trading. Okay. So when they died, that money just disappeared. Did it say the government made money, or is it picking out an individual? Beyond individual traders, European investors, ship owners, and insurance companies profited heavily from the transatlantic trade. New England merchants and families like the Brown family of Rhode Island. Oh, I thought there was no slavery in the North. There ain't no racism in the North. It's only in the South, right? New England merchants and families like the Brown family of Rhode Island used profits from the triangular trade to finance major institutions, including Harvard University. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Harvard University has an endowment of almost $60 billion. Where did that startup money come from? I bet you they would say, thank God I'm rich. And who are the people that Harvard University is an entity? Who are the people running and getting paid off running the entity? And Brown University, while European banks like Rothschild, isn't their family worth like $500 trillion? And firms like the Royal Africa Company earned substantial returns on voyages and loans. So these people just, they don't matter. Did anybody get rich like this off of persecuting a certain kind of or certain set of people during World War II? Like the scripture says, numerous modern corporations. Oh, okay. Did it say modern governments? So why are you seeking reparations from the government? When there's people around here got $500 trillion at least. Where is it? Almost $60 billion sitting around. The startup money came from us being treated like property, right? And you want reparations from the government. Okay. Numerous modern corporations have also been linked to historical profits from slavery. Aetna, New York Life, which insures enslaved people. And by the way, yeah, it's an AI generated answer, but you see this? This is the link. Behind every sentence at the end is a link. So when you click on the link, it's going to come up. Okay. Aetna, New York Life, which insures enslaved people, Bank of America. Wow, aren't they still around today? Oh, they gave a press conference. They apologized and stuff. JP Morgan Chase, JP Morgan, the railroad king, which used enslaved people as loan collateral, Tiffany and Company, financed by cotton picked by slave, and Norfolk Southern, which rented enslaved labor for railroads. Wow. So, wait a minute. Let's go back to Zechariah 11. Zechariah chapter 11, verses 4 and 5. Thus saith the Lord my God, feed the flock of the slaughter, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. Even the ones that beat them and beat the crap out of them are found not guilty. I'm thinking Rodney King, Malice Green in Detroit in the 90s, and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich. Yeah. And their own shepherds pity them not. The race hustlers. Who is this describing other than us? All right. Now, the people that are the flock of the slaughter, let's go to Psalms right quick. I think it's 77. Psalm 77, verse 20. Thou leddest thy people like a flock by the hand of Moses and Aaron. So that's talking about when the children of Israel came out of Egypt. All right. Where the people were oppressed and in slavery under taskmasters, slave overseers. All right. That's talking about his people. So how do we get to be the flock of the slaughter? Okay. Let's go to Deuteronomy. I'm just going to take a slight tangent, short tangent here. Deuteronomy, same thing as Leviticus 26. This is Deuteronomy 28. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. Blessing, 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 blessing. 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Okay. One of the things about the curses was the stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. In 43, 44 of Deuteronomy 28. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. So how did he get rich? We just went over in Zechariah one of the ways that he got rich. Deuteronomy 28:45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenedest, listened not unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded thee. And they, meaning the curses, like slavery, captivity, oppression, people getting rich off of us. All right. You know, there was a certain political party that made $90 million off of the death of George Floyd. So how are these people getting rich off of us? Because the Lord said so. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. So not only just on us, but on our kids, the projects, the horrible schooling, the being taught lies, being taught doctrines. It says in Deuteronomy 4, we was going to be scattered off our land and be taught wicked religions. Why? Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things. So why was this terror appointed to us? Because we were disobedient to God. And I want to look at this next verse. And then we're going to go into some illustrations. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger, in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. So it's not just one group of enemies, not just white people. All right. It says multiple enemies, which the Lord shall send against us in hunger. Do we have our own supermarkets, corner stores, bodegas anymore? No, we got to go to some other people. A lot of times, food is coming from out of the country. When they used to have an area, a large area in this country that was called America's breadbasket. But now we're getting food from uh, places that we're having conflicts with. So we have to go to other people for food, and in thirst, we have to go to other people for drink because ain't nobody got a well in the back of their house, right? Pumping water, and they filter it or whatever they have to do, right? And in nakedness, how many black clothing brands that are sold at major retailers are there? And in one of all things, why are we going to people, sisters, that do our nails and they have a mask on while they doing your nails, right? And they don't give you a mask. And especially don't give you a mask to take with you, because I'm sure the chemicals linger on your hands. And why are you going to them for hair and nails and stuff? Because the Lord said we would end up doing this. And we serve, maybe not the nail salon, but we go to work as a debt slave to pay bills, to do this, to do. When all this stuff used to be before these people came here and sent us here or whatever, before this system took over, everything was free and we were living in peace, as some people would put it. So in the want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron on thy neck until he hath destroyed thee. So what is the yoke of iron? What is the yoke of iron? Let's see. Let's go to the other screen. It should be coming up soon. Here it is. The yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. That's a slave collar. They would lock it around a person's neck and they would grab on it and take you where you didn't want to go. Or if you want to act up, I'm sure they had a pole with a hook that could grab it. All right. Let me see. Let's look at this. There's another collar that went on the neck. A brand, so that if you ran away, they could identify you and bring you back. Shackle. Slave records. And some people don't want you looking at the records because they don't want you to see who their descendants are and how they got their money. A whip, shackles and chains. But this yoke of iron, this fits us. Not only just in America, but wherever we were at around the world when our enemies that were sent by the Lord came and took us and put us in captivity. Because we did not obey his word. So now let's get back to the Klan. Okay. Because that terror and stuff. So I just wanted people to understand, especially our people, this is why this was happening. This happened for a reason. It didn't happen because people are evil. Matter of fact, I want to go here to Psalm 17 right quick. This happened for a reason. And the reason is because the Lord said it would. God is not evil, and God cannot be tempted with evil. All right, it tells you that in James 1. God is not tempted with evil. So he's not just going to, be hung over one morning and say, you know what, I'm just going to throw these people into captivity. No, he gave the word, and part of the word said if we go against it, this is what would happen to us. Okay. Psalm 17, verse 13. Arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword, from men which are thy hand, O Lord, from men of the world, which have their portion in this life, and whose belly thou fillest with thy hid treasure. They are full of children, and leave the rest of their substance to their babes. So the people that got rich off of us, selling us as slaves, murdering us, and finding themselves not guilty because they run the system, they are the Lord's sword. Paul repeats this when he says, obey the powers that be. The powers that be are ordained of the Lord, and they are not a terror to good works, they're a terror to evil. Are you doing evil? You better have fear of the powers that be, because they're going to come get you. David said this, 1,000 years or whatever earlier, right? Same thing. All right. So this is why it happened. So I want to go back to the Klan. All right. And because it was talking about different versions of it. Okay. There were 3 versions. Okay. That the first part was in Reconstruction. All right. And remember, we said most of the victims were Black, but white Republicans were also attacked, especially in Rutherford County, because it was Republican policies like voting for Black people that really angered, some people. So around the turn of the 20th century, the KKK and the Confederate Lost Cause generally took on for Southerners a retrospective romantic appeal that had been lacking amid the suffering immediately after the war. This attraction was greatly stimulated by North Carolinian Thomas Dixon's novel, The Klansman, 1905, and D.W. Griffith's film based on the novel, The Birth of a Nation. So, that movie is like the first time a lot of special effects were, or shading and shadowing and different techniques were used in movie making. So it's not the fact that it's so racist is not the only reason it's a groundbreaking movie, or that's what we're taught. All right. The second incarnation of the KKK was born in that environment in Atlanta, Georgia. Really? In Georgia? Where all the black people at? In 1915, encouraging super patriotism during World War I. After the war, its membership and geographic range expanded dramatically. During its heyday in the early 1920s, the second KKK numbered about 3 million members nationwide. It gained political power in Indiana, Oklahoma, Oregon. There was racist stuff happening in Oregon. Like, you wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't think it happened, but it was happening. And other states, but it was comparatively weak in North Carolina. Unlike the first Klan, it was primarily urban. And this is starting in the early 1920s. Isn't this when the Great Migration was happening? When a lot of our people were leaving the South and the rural areas and heading to the cities to work in plants and businesses? Reflecting demographic changes in the country. Its members, drawn chiefly from the lower middle class, because they were competing with our people for jobs, were often religious fundamentalists who felt threatened by the drift away from the small town Protestant culture they had known growing up. Well, if you leave the rural areas and move to the city, it's going to be a different environment. But I guess they didn't. They disdained immigrants, especially communists and other radicals, labor unions, Jews, Catholics, and the increasing number of blacks moving into both northern and southern cities, the Great Migration. You know, I wonder how much the land, the farmland and rural land that we abandoned in the South, I wonder how much that's worth today. Some Klansmen resorted to the terrorism. There's that terror. And who appointed that over us? Some Klansmen resorted to the terrorism of earlier days, but the vast majority were nonviolent. Well, there's nonviolent ways to enforce your hatred, right? But there are violent ways. We're concentrating on the violent ways. The modern day KKK emerged in 1946. And I think there's a postmodern Klan, and I'm going to get into that. 2 years after the second Klan had disbanded as a result of its legal, financial, and political crises. So it was going through some things where it was getting sued, membership was dropping, and it was not a good look politically. Because before the Voting Rights Act, I think it was Franklin Delano Roosevelt got reelected basically because of the black vote. All right. So even before the so-called Voting Rights Act of the mid 60s, our people were voting and did have political power. All right. So being a Klan member was starting to be not a good look. Although this new KKK was fueled by the fear of communism abroad and at home. Wait a minute. Fear of communism. Okay. Although this new KKK was fueled by the fear of communism abroad and at home, practically all of its violent activities were directed at undermining efforts to secure the civil rights of African Americans in the South. Well, it's coming out now that there were several communist leaders, guides, and financiers and donors of the civil rights movement that were communist. In North Carolina, one of its banner states, the modern Klan thrived among mill workers and other blue-collar laborers in the Piedmont area. One of its greatest embarrassments occurred in 1958 when a prospective KKK rally near Maxton in Robeson County was broken up by a group of Lumbee Indians. Oh, so when you look at this, just look at what happened during this rally. And it tells you and shows you that sometimes you don't have to be a victim. Nationally, the peak in membership came during the civil rights demonstrations of the 60s, when it may have reached 55,900 members in North Carolina. By 1995, the Klan was at its lowest ebb in many years nationally and locally. So I want to look at why. Okay. Why was it ebbing nationally and locally? So let's go here. Inside the case that bankrupted the Klan, updated April 11th, 2021. Article on CNN by Brianna Hare. Okay. At first, Cecilia Perry thought she knew what happened to her younger brother when he failed to return home from a late night trip to a service station on March 20th, 1981. 19-year-old Michael McDonald was thoughtful and responsible, working at night and watching Perry's oldest son during the day. He'd been with Perry at another sister's home in Mobile, Alabama, when he stepped out around 11 p.m. to pick up cigarettes. Another reason why you shouldn't smoke. And it tells you shouldn't smoke stuff in the Bible in Genesis 1. As the hour grew later with no sign of him, everybody assumed that he'd gone home to my mom, Perry says in CNN's docuseries, The People versus the Klan. Let's just scroll down. Okay. Let's just scroll down. What happened? Okay, there she is as of 2021. The Capitol murder trial. Okay. The jury found Hayes, the murderer, guilty of capital murder and recommended life without parole. An Alabama judge instead gave Henry Hayes the death penalty. Oh, so I thought Alabama was racist and the system was racist. Okay. The judge was like, okay, y'all recommend life? Nah. He's going to die. Okay. With Hayes, this is June 84, with Hayes sentenced to death and Knowles facing life in prison, the other murderer. The men who brutally assaulted and killed the 19-year-old young man were finally punished. But the Klan, the organization that bred the hate behind Knowles and Hayes' crime, was still a threat. Beulah May Donald's lawyer, then state senator Michael Figures, along with Morris Dees, the co-founder of the Southern Poverty Law Center, filed an over $10 million civil suit against the United Klans of America and other. And there is the state senator Michael Figures with the mother. Okay. After hearing Donald's case, an all-white jury awarded a $7 million judgment. The sum was so significant that it effectively bankrupted the United Klans of America, which was known as one of the largest and most violent KKK factions. Really? In an attempt to pay some of the damages owed, the United Klans of America turned over its headquarters in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, to Beulah McDonald. She sold the building and used the money to buy her first home. Okay, so that's a nonviolent way to fight the Klan, right? So there's another story here, and this is the civilcase.com, the legacy of the Chattanooga Five. How to Sue the Klan is the story of how 5 Black women from Chattanooga, Tennessee, used legal ingenuity to take on the Ku Klux Klan in a historic 1982 civil case, fighting to hold them accountable for their crimes and bring justice to their community. Their victory set a legal precedent that continues to inspire the ongoing fight against organized hate. Okay, so what happened here? That's the people that did the documentary. On April 19th, 1980, 4 Black women stood waiting for a cab on Chattanooga's 9th Street when a car passed, driven by a local Ku Klux Klan leader. Excuse me. His passengers, also Klansmen, worked together to fire shotgun blasts from the open window. All right. The gunfire wounded the 4 friends, and a 5th woman was struck by flying glass as the Klansmen, continued up the road, firing more shots. So they did a drive-by. And remember, shootings was part of that terror campaign that the Klan used all the way from back in the day. All right. But this article is titled How to Sue the Klan. There it is right there. How to Sue the Klan. All right, let's keep going down. Not only did the court award the women today's equivalent of over 1.5 million, but they issued an injunction against all Klan activities in the city of Chattanooga. To this day, Chattanooga residents can thank these women for driving the Klan out of the city forever. Oh, okay. McLaughlin, their lawyer, his use of the KKK Act. You mean there was a law already in place? We're going to take a look at it. McLaughlin's use of the KKK Act set a nationwide legal precedent that allowed more racial violence cases to be tried in civil courts with the same statute, chipping away at the Klan's power and funding over time. As they were sued all over the nation, financial losses and diminished influence forced Klan outfits out of more cities. Today, the precedent set by the Chattanooga Five is still used to fight hate in a time when racial violence is again on the rise. Oh, okay. So the KKK Act, when did this get brought up? The Enforcement Act of 1871, also known as the Ku Klux Klan Act, Third Enforcement Act, Third Ku Klux Klan Act, Civil Rights Act of 1871, or Force Act of 1871, is an act by the United States Congress that was intended to combat the paramilitary vigilantism of the Ku Klux Klan. 1871. The act made certain acts committed by private persons federal offenses, including conspiring to deprive citizens of their right to hold office, serve on juries, or enjoy equal protection of the law. Okay. The act was passed by the 42nd United States Congress and signed into law by President Ulysses S. Grant. Okay. So there are ways and means that they've used to sue the Klan and sue it out of existence. Actually, a lot of the work that was done suing the Klan and then going for civil forfeiture of like the property, like the one lady got the building in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and she sold it to buy herself a house. The precedents established in these cases, as far as the civil forfeiture aspect, have been used in other cases, like civil forfeiture of property acquired by drug dealers. Okay, to put them out of business. All right. So there's been a bunch of things happening where the Klan is like bankrupt. Like, you could take on different names and stuff like that, but there's a new Klan. There's a new Klan out now. All right. And let's look at it. Yahoo News, December 22nd, 2023. 50 years of homicide data shows the weight lands on Black people. So from 73 to 83. Excuse me, from 73 to 2023. 1973, rather, to 2023. A new report shows that Black men had or have had the highest homicide victim rate since 1960. A new report on homicide trends in the U.S. reveals the ebbs and flows of killings in America since the 60s, but the most consistent part is the impact such deaths have had on the Black community. The analysis shows that Black men have had the highest homicide victimization since 1960. All right. Most homicides are going to be intraracial within racial groups, but Black individuals disproportionately make up a large share of homicide victims. Really? Is that true? Let's look at an example. FBI crime stats. Murder. This is the crime. Race, sex, and ethnicity of victim by race, sex, and ethnicity of offender. 2019. Race of victim. Black or African American. What? Because now they done came out with foundational Black American. It was Negro. It was colored. It's like they got us going in circles, trying to hide from us who we really are. But anyway, Black or African American, total victims 2906. Race of offender, white 246. That's less than 10% of the murders. Who's the racist killing Black people now? Out of 2,900 Black people killed in 2019, 2,500 of them were killed by other Black people. Decrease in murder of Black people by white people. Brave search, AI answer, but here's the link. And here's the link where you can get the information from. Recent data indicates that white on Black homicides are relatively rare and stable, meaning not going up, not going down, not going up, with approximately 8 to 9% of Black murder victims killed by white perpetrators, including the police, which I think is, if you look at police killing Black people, they actually kill less Black people every year than they do white people. But MS Now, or whatever their name is this month, or CMN, or whoever they are, they don't want you to know that. You can look it up yourself, but why go and look something up when you could keep scrolling? All right. 8 to 9% of Black murder victims are killed by white perpetrators. According to FBI and Bureau of Justice Statistics data, white offenders accounted for 45.7% of murder arrests in 2024. Black offenders accounted for 51. But wait a minute. How can we be 14% of the population and getting arrested for half of the murders? reflecting the overall demographic distribution of violent crime, which is overwhelmingly intra, not inter, which is one to another, rather. Intra is internal, meaning among the black race. So who are the racists killing black people now? Overwhelmingly. Intra-racial dominance. Roughly 94% of black homicide victims are killed by black offenders. Who's the Klan now? Who's the Klan? How many blacks killed by blacks in the USA every year? Based on recent national data and longstanding criminal justice research indicating that 80 to 90% of black homicide victims are killed by other black people. Estimates suggest that roughly between 6,500 and 11,000 black people are murdered by other black people in the United States every year. If we took the low estimate, 6,500, every 10 years, let's lower that to 5,000 on average, right? Every 10 years, that's equivalent to the number of U.S. soldiers that died in Vietnam. And Vietnam was a 20-year war. It was a skirmish, then it was a training, and then it was this, and then it was that. It went 20 years. Yeah, it started in the 50s. Every 10 years, black people kill more black people than died in Vietnam, than U.S. soldiers died in Vietnam in a 20-year war. Who is the Klan now? Murdered by other black people in the United States each year. If we use the high estimate, then it's, and it varies. It goes up and down, right? Because 2019, it was low. It was 2,900. All right. So it can go up and down, right? So who are the racists killing each other? Oh, excuse me. We are racist because we don't have any love for each other. Who are the racists killing black people now? Okay. A definitive single number total of black people killed by the KKK from 1900 to 2026 does not exist due to a whole bunch of it's too complex, right? But congressional testimony and contemporary observers citing between 20 and 50,000 victims. All right. Tuskegee Institute estimated 1,500 deaths between 1865 and 77. But let's go 50,000, right? 50,000 black people killed by the Klan. All right. 1865, 77. That's 12 years, right? 50,000. All right. Let's go lower than the low estimate, 5,000 a year average. That's 10 years for us. So about every 10 years, we kill about as much as the Klan did of us. And those records, those estimates are not estimates are not accurate. All right. So, we can guess, some like I said, the Tuskegee Institute estimated approximately 1,500 deaths during this period. Okay. While other analysis suggests the Klan killed thousands. They don't know exactly what it is. But we know a good estimate of how many black people kill other black people every year, and it's more than the Klan. So what is the terror? What is the terror? Okay, let's look at something right quick. Let's look at Isaiah. Excuse me, Isaiah 51. Isaiah 51, and I think it's 17. And this is going back to how the slavery statistics, the people getting rich off us, being slaves, the terror that other people have on us, the terror we have on ourselves. All of this stuff identifies us as the people of the Lord, according to as it is written in the Bible. However, the Bible also identifies a way for us as a people and individually to come out of these punishments. And the murder and the terror and all that stuff was not the only punishments. Isaiah 51:17. Awake, awake, stand up, O Jerusalem, which has drunk at the hand of the Lord the cup of his fury. Thou hast drunken the dregs of the cup of trembling and wrung them out. So the fury the Lord had against us for our disobedience, yeah, we had to take that. We took that L. And that slavery and the terror and the Klan and all that stuff, that was just a small part of that L that we took. And a lot of the times, as we transitioned into doing the Klan's job for them, as far as the murder and the terrorizing our neighborhoods, that's also part of that fury. And you know how, like, when you have like if you make coffee in a French press, you might put cinnamon in it or cloves or something. But as you get to the bottom, even like with other drinks, like hot chocolate, some teas and stuff like that, when you get to the bottom, you'll see little particles in the bottom, or it'll be something darker, or something like that at the bottom, especially like with hot chocolate. That's the dregs, the stuff that's at the bottom, that's sunk to the bottom. The worst of the fury, right? We had to take that cup. We took that L. Going on, verse 18. There is none to guide her among all the sons whom she hath brought forth. Neither is there any that taketh her by the hand of all the sons that she hath brought up. Because there's a certain class of people amongst us that don't want to see our problems fixed because they have found a way to get paid off complaining about our condition. And that just is what it is. That is what it is. Two things are come unto thee, who shall be sorry for thee, desolation and destruction. Don't they say a lot of our neighborhoods are food deserts? And destruction. What do we do to neighborhoods? I remember there was a place where I used to stay. It was a long block. And maybe there were 150 houses on this block. And that was in the 80s, right? 40 years ago. Now there's like 18 houses on that block. Because we destroy neighborhoods and blame other people for it. And the famine, the shortage of food, the shortage of quality food. I went into a bodega ran by people that belong to a religion that a lot of our people are converting to nowadays. And I was like, wow, y'all got some candy in here. It's got beef gelatin in it. I think, yeah, I can go for some candy, I guess. The dude looked at me and said, I don't eat anything in here. And the store was in the hood. So he don't eat anything that he sells to our people. He don't give it to his family. All he does is feed that stuff to us. No quality food. And the sword, that's the violence and the terror. And who's it coming through? I got the statistics. I really don't have time to bring them up, but most of the violence is the young men committing these murders. By whom shall I comfort thee? Not by these racist race pimps. They're not going to comfort us because they don't want it to stop. They won't tell us we need to repent and stop the murder and stop the theft and love one another like Christ loved us, according to as it is written, and that's the fix to our problem. Because then they won't get paid. They can come out and say, let me read this, what's this word? Indictment on the and this is horrible and terrible, and we need donations because this dude was an innocent, holy, young, nonviolent black man that don't have me read anymore. But I'm just going to say we need donations, and we got to. And then the next dude that died, the next young black man that dies, he's there, just shows up. I remember, I forget who it was. Was it Mike Brown in St. Louis? And Jesse Jackson showed up, and then this dude walked up to him and was like, get your ASSS out of here. We don't need you. We don't want you. I know what you are. If I see you around, I'm giving you a time to get out of here. If I keep seeing you around here, I'm going to step to you. And Jesse Jackson left. Because people know what he was about. And people know what Rev, because you can't say the rest of the word, Al Sharptone and Crump and all the people know what they're about. Talcum X, the fake, I don't know how you go in like 3 or 4 years, 5 years from your hair length is like a 1/16 of an inch long to now all of a sudden you got an afro and kente cloth and you're a state representative cursing out a white state trooper that is holding back the crowd for you so you can get through. Somebody trained him to talk like Martin Luther King too. They don't care about us. We're not going to get comfort from them. Isaiah 51 verse 20. Thy sons have fainted. They lie at the head of all the streets. So our young men are hanging out on the corners because they ain't got nothing to do. They have fainted. They don't have hope because they see how society treats them. From a baby, you think they playing with toys and stuff. You got the TV on with the news. Another black man killed by da. And here's the Marxist interpretation of that. You're a victim. You're a victim. You're a victim. You have no hope. They're growing up listening to that. So by the time they get of age and they get out and get out on the streets, they've already quit in life. They have fainted. They lie at the head of all the streets, hanging out on the corners as a wild bull in a net. They are full of the fury of the Lord, the rebuke of thy God. So guess what? They go out, they be wilding, as they used to say, and they get caught up. Some of them make it out. Some of them get hurt. Some of them get killed. Some of them do the killing. How does this fit people in camps in World War II? How does any of these scriptures fit those people? And you know what we do take comfort of? I'm going to go here right quick. Let's go to Micah chapter 2, 10 and 11. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with a sword destruction. So if we try to find comfort through anything in this society, anything in this society, it's not going to work. We're going to get destroyed. And we're going to destroy ourselves and probably blame somebody else. But you know what we do? We look at a video of somebody with flashy clothes on that they rented, a car that they rented, some booty shaking dancers that they rented, some jewelry that they rented for the video, and popping a bottle, and we let that influence us. Why? Because the Lord said that's what we do. Micah 2 and 11. If a man walking in the spirit and falsehood do lie, saying, I will prophesy unto thee of wine and of strong drink, he shall even be the prophet of this people. And a lot of rappers, people treat them like prophets. Oh, Tupac. Oh, Biggie. Oh, crazy. Really? Really? They are not what we're supposed to be. And they are not what we're supposed to aspire to. But a lot of people get confused by that. Oh, Big L. Oh, whoever. Oh, King Von. Oh. Dude, ain't none of that for us. And the only reason that stuff is put out and publicized is to keep us from coming back to the Lord. Right? So, let me see. I'm just going to go here because we are the Klan. You got people that spent their life, great grandfather, like we went over the people that built up millions, billions, and trillions of wealth off of us being slaves and taking over our position that we had because the Lord had us on high and brought us down and took other people that was around us, took them up and put them up on high and gave them wealth that we would have kept having, right? But we sinned, right? Let me I'm gonna go here first. Ecclesiastes. 10 and 6. Folly is set in great dignity, and the rich sit in low place. Why? Those that are supposed to be rich are in low place. The stranger that is among thee, he shall be set up on high. You will be brought down low. He will lend to you. You will not lend to him. He will be the head, and you will be the tail. And what does the tail of an animal see? All the poop. And in this society, we see the poop. But here, look at this. I have seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants upon the earth. That's why they want to get rid of that Teddy Roosevelt, or they did get rid of that Teddy Roosevelt statue at the Modern Museum of Art. I think it was at the east entrance. But he was on a horse, and he had an American Indian on one side in chains and a black slave on the other side in chains walking next to him on his horse. But we don't care about that because we dignify folly. These scriptures are talking about us. They are for us, and we better wake up. Revelation 18, verse 1. And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. So Babylon is this system of things, is international. The harlot that sits on many waters. It's across all 7 continents, right? And it is the habitation of devils and every foul and evil spirit. And when we partake of these devilish thoughts and let these evil and foul spirits come upon us, we hate and murder each other worse than the Klan ever did. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. So the merchants of the earth, what was one of the things they were selling that we went over in this class? They were selling us. And we showed you the summary, the AI summary with the links that showed you several families and people got millionaires and billionaires and trillionaires off of us being sinners. And I'll give you another example. Look at family court. Family court in your town or county is an ecosystem that has set up people, given them jobs, sent their kids to college off of the iniquities of our people acting a doggone fool. It's paid judges, lawyers, police, guards, secretaries, clerks, all of that out of our sin. So look at that on a macro scale. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies, all because we sinned. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. So we got to stop being the Klan. We got to stop hating and murdering each other. Stop stealing from each other. Stop escalating arguments with each other. Because that's the topic of this conversation. We have to stop all sin and live according as Christ did, as it is written, so that we be not partakers of this evil society's sins, and we don't receive of her punishments. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities. Yeah, so we can't sin like the society is putting out there and dignifying the sin and trying to convince people and influence people to do it. We have to repent and come back and stop killing more Black people than the Klan ever did. All right. So with that, I'm going to give all praises to the Most High through Christ. And I hope everybody have a blessed day. Shalom.
Come back to the Lord. City under pressure, feel the ache in the air. Young souls in the crossfire, and nobody seems aware. Teen takeovers at night, confusion in the glow. What we see on the surface ain't the whole story though. Crime on the corner, lawlessness in the frame, but deep in the roots, something else is calling names. Oh, yeah. Come back to the wisdom of the Lord. Come back. We need mercy in the storm. Repent and return. Let His mercy make us whole. Yeah. Come back. He can heal the weary soul. Feed the flock of the slaughter. That's what the prophet said. When the watchmen failed and the people lay in dread. Institutions built to hell, but they left us weak. Turned to shadows in the night, left the children in the street. Education slipping, fathers fading from the home. Neighborhoods unraveling, everybody feels alone. Come back to the wisdom of the Lord. Come back. We need mercy in the storm. Repent and return. Let His mercy make us whole. Yeah. Come back. He can heal the weary soul. Hearken unto me, that's what the Lord still said. There's a higher way out of all this mess. When God is removed, confusion takes the throne, but His word still calls His children back home. Sons are fainted, lying in the streets, lying in the streets. Fail the children who let the walls break. Come back to the wisdom of the Lord. Come back. We need mercy in the storm. And return. Let His mercy make us whole. Come back. He can heal